for more on headwinds facing oil right now, we're joined by Scott Bauer, Prosper Trading Academy CEO. Thanks for joining us, Scott. So we have OPEC agreeing to ease some of the historic output curbs. But given where we are right now, I mean, would you categorize them as being between a rock and a hard place? Because this really seems to be a terrible position for OPEC right now.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to put it. And what we've been dealing with for the last, let's call it 6 months, is not just the supply constraints, but also on the demand side. And so now you've got OPEC and OPEC Plus, rolling that back a little bit, just as our reopening happened, but then got cut back. And in my opinion here, what is really going to affect the market, at least probably over the next quarter, is more from the demand side than it is from the supply side. So even though, OPEC Plus is rolling back and there is some question as to how much they're actually going to do, it's really the demand. Are people going to get back to normalcy? What is happening with the reopening? We saw a big surge, about a month ago, 3 weeks ago, and then that's all tapered off.
So on that point of demand, I mean, it feels, you're the expert here, but it feels like it's going to be dismal going forward, especially as coronavirus continues to surge. People don't necessarily want to get on planes, trains, automobiles. So what do you make of the outlook for demand in 2021 even?
I think, until probably through the third quarter, demand is going to be very, very low. And something that people, I think, are overlooking right now that we'll get the telltale sign in a couple weeks is when we get that new jobs number for July. Okay, the one we got for June, gangbusters, right? Fantastic. What many people don't realize is that did not include the last 2 weeks of June when those shutdowns started to happen and people were getting laid off again. So I think when we get those new numbers in 2 weeks, we're going to see some pretty dismal numbers, which then that translates into further, lower demand. And I believe that is just going to accelerate the headwinds that we see in the oil space right now.
So when we talk about oil, we can't forget to talk about competition, especially from U.S. shale. I mean, prices right now higher, the $40 to $45 range per barrel. I mean, is that keeping U.S. shale alive and then just fueling that competition, with OPEC?
It's keeping them on life support, quite frankly. Yes, it is keeping them alive, but, this is an area that these shale companies, they can't see that number breach to the downside. And I truly believe that because of all the pressure in the space, there's going to be some consolidation. And then, one other thing that I want to bring up, again, that people kind of, it's on the on-deck circle. People kind of don't really look at it, are gasoline futures as well. And we've seen a tremendous drop in the demand in gasoline futures over just the last couple weeks because, again, that demand is just not there. They obviously go hand in hand, the oil market and gasoline futures for the most part, but gas futures are at its lowest point in the last 3 weeks as well.
So I want to try to sneak one last one in with you here. I mean, we have seen a recovery from, the lows that we saw in March, roughly $20
Yes.
a barrel back then. I mean, obviously a pretty good run up here. Are you at all anticipating some sort of correction to the downside, especially with demand looking so weak, that outlook? I mean, is there anything that could possibly keep a rally going?
I mean, what would keep a rally going is some positive news on the COVID front, just like many other sections of this marketplace. But over the last probably 3 to 4 weeks, I have been selling every rally. I am not intentionally just taking short positions, but on any rally, I am selling into it. And I just don't see that situation changing in the near future. What do I see to the downside here? This range that we've been trading in over the last couple of months is really about 38.41. or so. Do I see it breaching 38? Yes, I think it can. The next level really gets us to about 35. That would not surprise me.
All right, we'll have to leave that there. Scott Bauer, Prosper Trading Academy CEO.